Brittney Griner was in a Russian prison. You would think that somebody who is now free, back in America, on home soil, would not have too much to complain about.
Have you noticed some of Brittney Griner's strange behavior behind WNBA Commissioner Catherine Engelbert? This may be the real reason why she is still in the league.
Another example of that is Brittney Griner. Brittney Griner made news. And Brittney Griner made news the other day because why?
Stephen A. Smith just detonated a nuclear bomb on the WNBA, and the fallout is spreading faster than wildfire. The ESPN heavyweight claims he's got his hands on classified documents that could expose the biggest secret in women's basketball history. And when Stephen A. speaks with this much conviction, the entire sports world stops to listen. This isn't just another hot take or controversial opinion. This is potentially career-ending, league-shattering information that nobody saw coming. The tension has been building for months, maybe even years. Brittney Griner's been playing with an edge that's left opponents bruised and fans asking uncomfortable questions. That elbow to Caitlin Clark wasn't just aggressive, it was something else entirely. Players are walking off the court looking like they went 12 rounds with a heavyweight boxer, while Brittney barely breaks a sweat. Veterans with decades of experience are getting bulldozed like rookies, and nobody wants to admit what they're all thinking. Something doesn't add up, and Stephen A. says he knows exactly why. During his appearance on the Valuetainment podcast, Stephen didn't just criticize Brittney's attitude, he went nuclear. The conversation started innocently enough, discussing the WNBA's recent surge in popularity. But then, Stephen reached into his folder and pulled out what he claimed were explosive documents obtained from her time in Russian custody.
Brittney Griner, who was imprisoned in Russia, in a man's prison, which I had known
was under fire for extremely aggressive behavior portrayed toward Caitlin Clark, the rookie from last year, the one that has everybody's focus in the WNBA. And this incident has, of course, gone viral online, but also sparked up some other skeletons in Brittney's closet that she probably wants to stay hidden.
The room went silent. According to his sources, when Russian authorities ran mandatory medical tests on Brittney during her imprisonment, they discovered something extraordinary. Genetic markers that supposedly explain her unprecedented physical dominance on the court. The kind of advantages that have teammates nursing injuries after practice and opponents questioning if they're playing on a level field. The Russians apparently found anomalies in those test results that raised serious red flags. We're talking about muscle density readings that were off the charts, bone structure that doesn't align with typical female athletic profiles, and recovery rates that would make Olympic scientists jealous. These aren't just minor variations. If Stephen's sources are legitimate, we're looking at fundamental biological differences that would give any player an insurmountable advantage. The type of edge that makes blocking shots look effortless and has defenders bouncing off like they hit a brick wall. One anonymous WNBA player reportedly told Stephen's team that guarding Brittney felt like trying to move a mountain. But here's where it gets really interesting. That infamous poolside video that went viral, the one that mysteriously never got flagged by Instagram despite appearing to show full exposure? Fans are now viewing it through a completely different lens. Social media detectives have been working overtime, analyzing every frame, every angle, trying to piece together what they might have missed. The fact that it stayed up when similar content from other female athletes gets instantly removed has people asking questions they never thought to ask before. Tech experts are even claiming the algorithm should have caught it within minutes, yet it remained visible for hours, accumulating millions of views before mysteriously disappearing. Stephen A. kept circling back to one crucial detail that makes everything else pale in comparison.
Remembering who they let out to get her back on American soil. The Merchant of Death, an arms dealer that wanted to kill American citizens, according to the reports. That's who they let out. For her. You would think that you would be smiling, you would be ecstatic, you would be happy, and something like this wouldn't faze you at all. The fact that it does is disturbing. I'll leave it at that.
The prisoner swap that brought Brittney home. Trading a basketball player caught with cannabis oil for Victor Bout, an arms dealer nicknamed the Merchant of Death? That deal never made sense to anyone paying attention. Political analysts called it the worst trade in diplomatic history. Former CIA operatives questioned the logic. Even casual observers wondered why America would make such a lopsided exchange. Unless, of course, there was something else at stake. Something that made getting Brittney out of Russian custody an urgent national priority. Stephen hinted that if she'd stayed even a few weeks longer, those medical records would have gone public, creating an international scandal that would have destroyed the WNBA's credibility overnight. The timeline is crucial here. Brittney was arrested in February, but the prisoner swap didn't happen until December. That's 10 months of negotiations, 10 months of Russia holding those test results, 10 months of leverage. Stephen's sources claim that Russian officials were preparing to release the medical findings as part of their propaganda campaign against the West. The Biden administration allegedly fast-tracked the exchange when they learned what was about to drop. Think about it. They left Marine Paul Whelan behind, a veteran who'd been imprisoned since 2018, to bring home a basketball player. That decision only makes sense if preventing those documents from going public was worth any price. The league's response, or lack thereof, speaks volumes. No investigations, no mandatory testing, no questions asked. It's almost like they already knew what they'd find and decided ignorance was their best defense. When other sports have faced similar controversies, they've immediately implemented testing protocols and launched independent investigations. But the WNBA? Complete radio silence. Former teammates are now coming forward with stories that seemed innocent at the time but take on new meaning in this context. Never changing in the locker room, always arriving in full gear, keeping unusual distance from other players during team activities. One former Phoenix Mercury player, speaking on condition of anonymity, told reporters that Brittney would often use separate facilities, claiming it was for privacy from media attention. But there was no media in those practice facilities. Then there's Brittney's bizarre reaction to increased fan attendance.
Brittney, a few weeks ago, you fouled out of an Indiana Fever game. Cameras caught you saying something on the bench. It's hard to tell what you said. Can you tell us what you said?
I remember fouling out, being mad. I remember fouling out on, I believe it was Howard driving to the basket. They said I put my hand in. But hey, never really had to look officiating, so.
But what did you say?
I really can't remember what I said, honestly.
If I showed you the video, would that help?
No, it wouldn't help.
It wouldn't help?
That viral quote about preferring empty arenas where she could relax without the pressure of entertaining people? Even if it originated from a satire account, it struck a nerve because it aligned perfectly with her observable attitude. The disdain for packed crowds, the visible frustration with newfound attention. It all suggests someone who never expected to be under this level of scrutiny. Watch any recent game footage and you'll see it. The uncomfortable body language when cameras zoom in, the quick exits from the court, the minimal fan interaction compared to other stars who embrace the spotlight. The Caitlin Clark incident was just the tip of the iceberg, but it's the moment everything started unraveling. When Brittney fouled out and allegedly hurled slurs from the bench, her later claim of not remembering what she said raised even more eyebrows. How do you forget something that happened minutes earlier, especially when cameras caught every second? The audio was mysteriously muffled in the official broadcast, but lip readers across social media claimed they could make out words that would have resulted in immediate suspension for any other player. Unless, of course, you're desperately trying to control a narrative that's spiraling out of control.
Fans in every sport. She described the fans.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what sport you're. It doesn't matter what sport you pick. That's how fans act in every arena. In every arena.
Stephen A. made it clear he's not backing down from this story. In fact, he doubled down during a follow-up segment on First Take, stating he has more documents, more sources, and he's preparing to release everything if the WNBA doesn't come clean. His exact words were, "I've been in this business for 30 years, and I've never sat on a story this big. But I'm giving them one chance to do the right thing before I blow the lid off this whole operation." The league is facing its biggest crisis since inception, and their silence is only making things worse. Every day that passes without an official response is another day for conspiracy theories to multiply and spread. Social media is absolutely erupting with demands for transparency. The hashtag WNBAgate has been trending for 3 straight days. Fans want DNA tests, they want investigations, they want answers to questions that should have been asked years ago. Comments are flooding in by the thousands, with people calling for everything from financial restitution to criminal investigations for fraud. One viral tweet with over 500,000 likes simply asked, if a regular person lied about their identity to compete professionally, wouldn't that be fraud? The court of public opinion has already reached its verdict, and it's not looking good for anyone involved in this alleged cover-up. What makes this even more explosive is the timing. The WNBA just experienced its most successful season ever, largely thanks to Caitlin Clark bringing in new viewers and corporate sponsors. Television ratings were up 300%, merchandise sales hit record highs, and new broadcasting deals were being negotiated. Now they're facing accusations that could delegitimize years of competition and destroy the trust they've worked decades to build. If Stevens' claims prove true, we're not just talking about one player or one scandal. We're talking about systemic deception at the highest levels of women's professional sports. The question now isn't whether this story will explode, it's how big the explosion will be and who gets caught in the blast. Stephen A. Smith doesn't make accusations like this without bulletproof evidence, and he's promising more revelations in the coming days. His track record speaks for itself. When he broke the story about certain NBA conspiracies, when he exposed coaching scandals, he's always had the receipts. The WNBA can't hide behind silence forever, and when the truth finally comes out, it might just change women's basketball forever. The clock is ticking, the pressure is mounting, and everyone's waiting to see who breaks first. One thing's for certain, this story is far from over, and the next chapter might be the most shocking yet.